Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll tell you a brief history of Spanish. We'll see at the history of Spanish, the strong region that conquered the land now Spain and left a strong mark on the language is now Spanish. Let's go. Beginning in the 3rd century before the coming era, the Romans conquered the Iberian Peninsula. This period gave rise to several regional languages in the area that's now Spain, including Castilian, Catalan, and Galician. But one of these would become Spanish, but not for another 1500 years. Those years tell the origin story of what's become a global modern language. During the Roman occupation, colloquial spoken Latin, often called Vulgar Latin, mixed with indigenous languages. Approximately 75% of modern Spanish come from Latin, including syntactic rules. For instance, verbs are conjugated in a similar way as in Latin. And like other Roman languages, nouns have genders. El Sol, the sun, is masculine, whereas La Luna, the moon, is feminine. After the Roman Empire collapsed, a series of other powers conquered the region. First came the Visigoths starting in the 5th century of the Common Era. They spoke an Eastern Germanic language that would eventually become part of German and lent a few words to the language that would become Spanish. Then the Umayyad Caliphate ousted the Visigoths. They spoke Arabic, which left a strong mark on modern Spanish. Thousands of words come from Arabic. These often have a starting A or Z sound and sometimes include an H. In 1492, the Catholic Church consolidated its power through two monarchs, Isabella and Ferdinand, expelling Moslems and Jews, combining the distinct regional kingdoms into one nation, and adopting one of the local languages as the official state language. That language is called Castellano or Castilian from the Kingdom of Castile, which was centrally located in Spain and home to Madrid. Thereafter, Castellano became Espanol or Spanish. But the Spanish of 1492 was Old Spanish, very different from Spanish today. That same year, Christopher Columbus sailed across the Atlantic Oceans, making the start of the Spanish conquest of the Americas. The indigenous population of Americas spoke an estimated 2,000 different languages. Over the next few decades, most of them were forced to adopt Spanish at the expense of their own languages. Still, words come from indigenous language become part of Spanish. From Nahuatl, the language of Aztec Empire, came word with ch, cha, and y, ya, like chapulín and coyote. From Quechua, a language spoken in the Peruvian Andes, came word with cha like cancha, tuyo, and poncho. Some of these words describe things that hasn't existed in the Spanish lexicon before, which are the replace existing Spanish words even in Spain. By the time Miguel de Cervantes published the first part of Don Quixote in 1605, the language was arguably more similar to modern Spanish than place of one of his contemporaries, William Shakespeare, were to modern English. Starting in the 18th century, French language and culture were extremely fashionable in Spain and later Hispanic America. While the two languages already had commonalities from their shared roots in Latin, Spanish gained new words from French during this period. In the 19th century, all over Central and South America, people revolted to gain independence from Spain. In the newly sovereign nations, people continued to speak the language of their former oppressors. Today, there are approximately 415 million inhabitants of Hispanic America. Spanish is the official language of 21 countries and Puerto Rico. As in 2011 and 21, only English, Mandarin, and Hindi have more speakers. How does a language with so many speakers around the world not break apart into new languages the way vulgar Latin did? There's no easy way to answer this question. Other languages that spread through colonialism like French have mixed with indigenous languages to form entirely new ones. Some would argue that Spanglish, a mixture of Spanish and English, is a distinct language or on its way to becoming one. But although a person in Buenos Aires occasionally might use words that aren't fully intelligible to someone in Bogota or Mexico City, Spanish retains enough unity of syntax, grammar, and vocabulary to remain one language. That's all about my video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.